Welcome to Awaken You Yoga and Healing Center, and I'm Shelly. This class is a vinyasa style, which just means intentional breath with intentional movement towards the hips, and those ouchy, painful spots, or sometimes maybe if you're just sitting for a while and you go to get up and then it's really hard to move around. I've created this practice for you to help breathe through that, help stretch, create a little bit more mobility and flexibility, and just nurture those spaces inside of the hip joints, hip flexors, and maybe even that wrap around back to the glutey booty muscles that might be in need. This class would be great to have 2 blocks. You can also do water bottles or hardback books. And if you have harder floors, please feel free to use a blanket to protect your knee joints. So unroll the mat, and together, my beautiful friends, let us do this. Namaste, my friends. Together, join me on your mats. And if you do have a nice folded blanket or a pillow, why don't you put that under your little sit bones there? And you can grab your blocks. And we're going to join in a Baddha Konasana, a butterfly pose. Joy says hello. And so just depending on your hips and where you are in your body, you can draw the heels closer to your pelvic wall, or you can push them further away. So just kind of see, are your hips kind of like really hurting? You might need to stand your blocks up tall. And if your body is allowing, maybe you can put them down here. So really press the soles of the feet together. But at the same time, you can kind of peel the feet open like a little book here. So we're going to together inhale, raise up. Exhale, dive the heart towards the feet. Just pausing here. Inhale into the hips. Exhale. And here, just pause for a moment. And you can even allow the chin to dive towards the chest. You can even feel what it feels like in the neck, because when we're working on our hips in yoga, as in life, we're always working through other parts of our body here. From here, my friends, inhale. A big breath that comes down into that low belly with me. Fill up your belly like a big balloon, and then you're going to use your elbows to press on the tops of your thighs, and then exhale, sink. And really just breathing into the hips. And just taking this moment to notice what is going on in your hips. Our hips can be known as our roots. Sometimes it can be linked to our creativity and our sexuality. And here, just kind of tuning in, you can inhale, raise up, to what's happening in your hips, and maybe just acknowledging this pain without trying to shove it away. Inhale, exhale. And if it's not feeling deep enough, if you're feeling like, I could use a little bit more, you can draw those heels into the pelvic wall. If the blocks are not being a friend, you can move them in a different direction. One more time, inhale, raise your heart light up. Fill up that belly with that prana, that pranayama, and breath. In yoga, we use breath, and we tie it to our movement. Exhale. Wonderful. Inhale from here, my friends, and you can sweep your legs to one side and meet me in all fours. If you do have harder floors, it's really awesome to grab a blanket to protect your knee joints here. And you can just make it nice here, creating wide open starfish hands here and in a tabletop position. And just take a moment here, and we're going to exhale the hips to the right side, and we're going to peek to the left. Just taking this moment to acknowledge what's up in the hips. I know sometimes more my right hip gets a little wonky than my left. Inhale to center. Exhale, peek towards the opposite heel. Allow the opposite hip to press away from the body. Really getting this lovely stretch in the outer hip and the booty muscles. Inhale back to center here. And then just take a moment. You can breathe up. Inhale, a cat, tucking your chin into your tail. Exhale. And if your hips are feeling really tight, you can open the knees wide. Just pause here, arching that spine. in that cow. Inhale, raise. Exhale, sink. 2 more at your own pace. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, cat. Stretching that spine up, big, big, big. Exhale, arch to the cow. Wonderful work. From here, depending on where you are in your hips, big toes come to touch, big toes, hips splay open wide. And then you're gonna press back into your sit bones, wherever you are in your hips. Sometimes it's here. And then lengthen your arms long to the earth, long, like walking them forward and allowing the forearms to the elbows to rest down, and then pressing back with your heart, pressing back into your hips here for a playful puppy. And this not only stretches back into those hip flexors, it also gives this amazing stretch to the shoulders. And really, once again, just creating that energy as you wide open, press your starfish hands into the earth, press your forehead down onto the earth. And if it feels good, maybe you can wag your little puppy tail. I often see this little Joey dog here doing this little motion here. Inhale into the hips, exhale. And you can even sink a little bit further back, really breathing into those hip spaces, allowing an openness, exhaling out. Wonderful. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. With your breath, walk your hands back to your body. And this is where those blocks or water bottles or books, whatever you have, are going to be your friend. We're going to post them up tall on the vertical end. And then we're going to step, if you're side to side with me, that right foot forward. So as that right foot steps forward, just check your alignment of your knee to your ankle, ankle to knee. And then you can relax that hind foot on the earth. And you can take a moment to just explore, walk the blocks forward. Pause up at the top. Sometimes this can be really ouchy, pouchy in this hind hip. So just really listen. And then you can just take a moment and walk back. So here, just explore the hips. Walking forward and really bringing that Rajaka Pranayama. That's that exhalation breath. So it's when we bring the breath into the belly organically, and then we exhale it out long. So really welcome the breath. Organic inhale to a lengthened exhale. Sometimes it can help to press your breath away. And one thing I want to encourage is that I remember when I first started practicing yoga, I would always feel really awkward about my breath. And I just encourage you to know that breath is one of your superpowers. Breath helps create a sense of calm. It helps disconnect us from thoughts and stressors. And so from here, my lovely friends, we're going to pause at the top. Walk that foot that is rooted onto the earth off of the mat at a 45-degree angle. So toes just angle off of the mat here. And then walking those blocks forward to whatever your hips will allow. Woo! You can get this very expansive hip opener in that right hip if you are on my same side. And so taking your blocks to walking to wherever your body is able and wherever it feels good. And if your knee is hurting and you didn't grab this blanket, you can also roll the mat over because you want to make sure you're protecting your joints, my lovely friends. Inhale the breath as you open here. This is the supported lizard. Exhale. So remember, inhale that breath into your belly. Exhale, press it away long. Inhale, kind of pause. And sometimes it can feel good if you wiggle out the ouch, wherever it's feeling painful. For me, it's this top of that hip flexor. So whatever, noticing what you're noticing in your body as you breathe it in. Exhale it out. Inhale. Exhale. And in yoga, when we hold a posture for longer than 60 seconds, that's more considered a restorative posture, and it actually helps create more mobility and flexibility, and it helps lengthen at the connective tissue within our body. So I know sometimes when I take a class, I want to like jam and rock out to the next move, but that's not always what's best, especially when we're kind of trying to heal our body and give it some love. So press back into the sit bones and rock it out. walk that foot back into the mat, find that alignment from here. And if you need to, you can post up on this hind foot, and from here we're going to inhale up for a crescent lunge. Inhale, arms to a cactus, or you can float the arms up overhead, palms kissing palms, to a Namaste mudra for a back bend here. So just tipping back here, inhale the breath. Exhale, pause. Really finding that rootingness through the inner thighs, through the top of the front foot. Inhale. Exhale, float the hands back down to the earth here. First option is to stay with the knee down on the earth and hands on the blocks, hands reach under the shoulders. Second option, to post up. Inhale, hugging through the inner thighs, again, depending on where you are in your hips. If your hips are feeling like, yes, I have got this, I can do this. Or if they're feeling like, yeah, no thanks, I'm down here, that's fine. Wherever you are. And then just really reach through that back heel, create energy, allow the energy to spiral up the calf, spiraling up to the back of the hamstring, all the way spiraling to the hip flexors, spiraling to the hip in the front body, and then all the way spiraling to the foot, down to the earth, creating this lengthened energy as you inhale into the belly. Exhale it out. Inhale into the belly. Exhale it out. Inhale. Exhale as you pause. Notice perhaps the spiraling of the thoughts. Notice perhaps however the body is responding. And just be here, being mindful that you're not cranking your neck up too far or pressing it too far down to the earth. Inhale, finding that balance here within the right side body, the Pingali Nadi, which is our masculine energy, and the Ida Nadi, which is our feminine energies. And knowing that a balanced human is really intertwining both energies together as one. Inhaling the breath. Exhale, floating down to the earth. Woo, and taking a moment, maybe wiggling out. From here, lovely friends, bringing that front foot that's rooted to the earth towards the pelvic wall, releasing that top foot, grab that block. For me, I like to pop the block under my sit bone on the part of my body when your dog is not in the way. On my part of my body that is kind of flapping up. If you have a pillow, that can work really good too. Bring that block with you down to the earth here. So a self-adjustment, we're going to bring the hand on the hip with the leg length and long, press that hip down, and then you can actually reach in and spiral the thigh up and just check out that foot. The toes like to kind of like cockeye in, so do your best to find an alignment in your own body. So once again, we can come here, press that hip forward, and just take a moment. So you can't really see this hip, but I have that block underneath of the hip that is in towards the body. And more of a gentle variation is kind of how I am with the heel towards the pelvic wall. If it feels like you need to go deeper, you can move that sole of the foot away from you. If you are experiencing a lot of hip pain, it might be wise to keep that heel tucked in tight towards that pelvic wall. Inhale the breath. Give yourself a little back bend here. Open your heart. Breathe love into your heart. Exhale, walk to the forearms. You can post that block up however high you need. Take a moment. It's often recommended. It feels really good if you start up a little bit higher here. Just pause as you breathe into the tightness of the hip. Exhale. And sometimes if it's feeling really tight and uncomfortable, right, that can be the mind. And maybe you need to back off a little bit. You can pull up the opposite side and just take a moment. Exhale. Just allow yourself to find that edge, that space between too much and not enough. If your body is willing, you can bring that block down a little bit closer to the earth. You can bring the block closer, closer, closer to the earth. If your body is saying, yes, please, you can also just bring your hands down on the earth and place your hands on the top of underneath of your head and just rest here, breathing into the hip flexor, into this lovely hip opener. And I brought my root chakra crystal singing bowl for a little healing here while we restore and rest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. If you need to back off, that's okay. If my body is saying, maybe back off a little bit, it's feeling a little tight, and that's okay. Inhale. work from here, my friends. Whoop, we're gonna move that block for a little quick posture and come on the sit bones. Inhale that foot to the earth and then cross it over the top of the leg that was in, and we're gonna inhale, raise it up. Exhale, twist to the side of the bent knee on top. Inhale, exhale. And in yoga, whenever we twist, it's a detoxification. Inhale to center. It's a wringing out, a cleansing of the internal organs. It's like, I always imagine like our spine, like a dirty towel, and you're just wringing out and excreting all of that fluid and then sending it away with your breath. Wonderful. Inhale back to center. Lengthen that leg back long. So tricky motion. And then bend into this leg. Hands press into the earth. Woo, and however you need, maybe lengthen that leg out. Whoa, how is that feeling in that hip? Give yourself a little free expression. And of course, joy is choosing to lay right where I need to be. Here. So coming back to that tabletop position, my lovely friends. Grab those blocks. Other side, leg post up. You can lengthen or create a little softness with that hind foot. And then once again, explore the hips on the opposite side. Walking back. Inhale. Exhale. Really welcoming the breath, rooting that front foot into the earth. And you can pause up at the top here. Ooh, remembering to find that edge, that space between too much and not enough. As you welcome breath into the hips. And then send it out through your feet. Inhale, a sense of rootedness, a sense of grounding. Exhale, press back. And you can take a moment to pause here. I know for me, often there's something in this motion that my body resists. And so if your body is resisting something, don't just try to move through it. Just pause with the resistance, because yoga is here to teach us, just like in life, that sometimes we resist things, but what we resist persists and it comes back. So just be with the weird resistance. Walk forward and back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Wonderful. So on this side, walking the toes off of the mat at that 45-degree angle. So just the toes are angled off the heels, still on the mat. Walking the blocks a little bit past where the shoulder joints are. Really pressing the pelvic wall down, almost like you can scoop your pelvis down. Inhale. You can create integrity even in your spine when we're getting this little lovely arch in the spine, but integrity also in that cervical vertebrae, which is the vertebrae in the neck. So instead of kind of hanging the head heavy here, inhaling, finding that integrity, and also not putting the chin up too high. So finding that balance in the body. Once again, noticing that left body to the right body. Sometimes the left hip feels better or worse or balance, or just maybe it feels good. So just be with whatever is. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Create that. Outside. Joey always is barking at people. Inhale. Joey, come. It's okay. Inhale. We'll just ring our singing. Joy. There's somebody walking. Inhale. Come here, Jasper. Jasper, come. Exhale. We're gonna walk back. Come here, Joy. Jasper, come. Walking their feet back. Apologies for the big dogs. Come here. Come here. Sit. Calm down. And then we're gonna inhale, rooting that front foot into the earth. Oh, dogs. It's either dogs or kids. My kids are all at school. Joy, come. And from here, we're going to inhale, arms to a cactus. Exhale, Joy, come here. Arms reach high to the sky for a crescent lunge. Joy, come. Joy, come. Getting a gentle back bend here. Inhale. Inhale as you root your feet into the earth. Joy, it's enough. It's enough. It's enough. It's fine. It's fine, Joy. Inhale here. Exhale, grounding the feet into the earth. Inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale, find a little length here. Get that little back bend. Inhale, exhale, down to the earth here. So coming into that runner's lunge. So that first option is to keep that front foot, that rear foot down on the earth. Inhale, or you can find that sense of rootiness. Post up like a kickstand on the hind foot. Inhale, raising the body here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, hugging the inner thighs together. And sometimes it can feel good for a little rock and back and forth. Again, if your body's like, no, thank you, I'm right here, this is good enough. Wherever you are is good enough. And I always say that yoga is a practice. It's not a perfect, and it's not a one size fits all. So inhale here. Exhale. Hugging those inner thighs together, finding a lovely openness throughout both of the legs on the earth. Breathing that energy up. Exhale, melt that knee down. You can relax the top of that hind foot down so the top of the foot is on the earth. And then we're going to create that pigeon, half a pigeon on the other side. So heel, sometimes it can feel a little awkward to get into this. I'm feeling a little awkward with my blocks. So you post your hands up, draw that heel in. I don't know why that was so awkward today, but it just was. I hold space for that. Release the top of that foot long. So this side you can check out with the block. So get that block under that sit bones. And the whole premise of this block is to find that balance in the hips. We're gonna reach back on this leg, lengthen long on the earth, spiral the hip from the inside of the hip up towards the sky. Foot lengthens long, doing your best to find alignment in the toes. Hand guides down on the hip and presses the hip down to the earth using that opposite block here. We're gonna summon the lovely root chakra, singing bowl, helping us find the sense of rootedness here. Inhale. You can get that back bend here. Exhale, you can sink, you can bring that block like we did on the other side, resting the forehead here, finding a little restoration here in the body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And just once again, noticing the hips, breathing love and healing energy into the hips. Exhale. Jasper, lay down. Lay down. Jasper's the watchdog looking out. Inhale. If your body will allow, perhaps you could flip that block a little bit deeper to deepen this lovely stretch in the hips, the back of the hamstrings, and just noticing without judgment whatever's happening in the hips. Breathing love and healing into your hips. Exhaling it out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. If you can deepen and go a little bit closer to the earth, get a little bit deeper stretch, or if your body's saying, no thank you, that's fine, be wherever you are. Inhale. Here we are restoring and resting our bodies, and when we rest and restore, we create more mobility and flexibility instead of trying to rush into the next thing. This teaches us how to pause and be present in our lives with what actually is right here in this moment. Inhale. Exhale it out. Full cycle of breath comes in, and exhale, let it go. Wonderful work, my friends. You did it. From here, removing that block. You can just roll that booty onto your mat. You can grab that hind leg, bring it up and over, crossing the midsection. Inhale, grow, grow, grow the spine. Exhale, twist. Detoxifying as you inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, back to center, arms reach high to the sky, and then hugging the knee on the opposite side. Hand reaches behind, finding that edge, that space between too much and not enough. Breathing it in, letting it go. Inhale. Exhale. Wonderful, my friends. And then inhale, back to center. Both of the feet meet in the soles of the feet, kissing soles of the feet just as we begin in that Baddha Konasana. So my beautiful friends, I really just welcome you to try these stretches out, and even throughout your day, if you're experiencing that hip pain, you can find one of these postures that you learned in today's practice, or you can keep doing this to help create that more mobility and more flexibility in the hips. One last time, inhale, butterfly wings, flap up. Exhale, down. Inhale, flap up. Exhale, flat down. Wonderful work. Meet me in a crisscross applesauce. Take a moment to bring the palms, kissing palms, to your heart center. And just acknowledge yourself and your journey and exactly where you are. And say, I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. And allow a little smile to curl up on your lips. Namaste, my friends. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I will be with you very soon again.